August 14th, 2025, the Ukrainian 414th Strike UAV Brigade detected a lone Russian soldier advancing across open terrain near the village of Repelling in the Zaporizhzhia region. The soldier was spotted attempting to cross defensive wire belonging to Ukrainian positions on foot. An FPV drone was immediately launched, heading straight for the target. The FPV drone gradually closed in on the Russian soldier, who did not notice it for a while. As the drone drew nearer, the soldier spotted it and opened fire. The Russian soldier began firing all the rounds in his weapon, but, despite all his efforts, failed to hit the drone. Now left completely defenseless, he was thrown into panic, unsure of what to do. The FPV drone rapidly advanced toward the Russian soldier. Unable to cross to the other side because of the wires, the Russian soldier was left helpless against the drone. In the open field, he had nowhere to hide. After a few failed maneuvers, he became the direct target of the FPV drone. Two Russian soldiers were detected in a field by the incognito group of Ukraine's 54th Mechanized Brigade. The first soldier noticed the drone early and tried to flee, but the drone targeted him before he could reach the cover of the trees. The second Russian soldier had been hiding among the tall grass. However, when the drone approached, he immediately stood up, but there was not enough time to escape, leaving him exposed as an open target for the drone. You can support us by liking and commenting on the video. Russian drone operators positioned inside a building were detected by Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade. While one Russian soldier stepped outside to deploy a drone, he noticed a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone observing him and immediately ran back inside. Ukrainian FPV drones swiftly carried out attacks with high explosive drones on two separate apartments where the Russian soldiers were located. The Ukrainian 210th Separate Assault Regiment, together with neighboring units, conducted an operation in the southern suburbs of Steppenhersk in southern Ukraine. Kamikaze drone attacks were carried out against Russian soldiers stationed inside buildings. As the attacks on the buildings continued, Russian soldiers panicked and attempted to flee to other buildings. However, the locations they chose to hide in were continuously targeted by drones. The operation to clear the area of Russian forces continued for hours. Abandoned buildings were relentlessly struck by drones, with attacks persisting until no Russian troop movements could be detected. Drones were not the only assets used. Ukrainian infantry also carried out explosive strikes on the buildings, actively participating in the operation. During this operation, reports indicate that 17 Russian soldiers were neutralized within hours, while numerous others were driven out of the area. The Ukrainian UAS Brigade Phoenix first targeted Russian infantry with precision FPV drone strikes, neutralizing troops in open terrain. Not only dismounted Russian infantry were targeted, Russian motorized assault teams on motorcycles were also neutralized by FPV drones. Fuel tankers and ammunition vehicles moving through the area were likewise rendered inoperable. They also disabled artillery guns, disrupted logistics, and immobilized light vehicles in the Kharkiv Oblast. On August 13th, 2025, Ukraine's 421st UAS Battalion tracked Russian troops in the Kurakov area. Russian infantrymen were individually targeted by Ukrainian kamikaze drones and FPV drones. For 2 consecutive days, Russian infantry in the area remained helpless, unable to escape becoming targets of relentless drone attacks. 26 Russian soldiers lost their lives in 2 days. August 14th, 2025. A long-range UAV struck a multi-story building in Rostov, Russia. The drone, moving directly toward a specific target, caused a massive explosion. The unit responsible for the strike and the intended objective have not yet been confirmed. Ukraine's 20th UAS Regiment, K2, targeted Russian forces in the direction of Siversk, neutralizing tanks, logistics vehicles, reinforced infantry positions, and individual soldiers. Russian infantry continued to wander, exposed across the terrain, defenseless against drone strikes and are repeatedly targeted. Here comes another Russian soldier. He notices the drone and tries to engage it, but it's already too late. Here, a high explosive bomb is being dropped on a Russian position by a drone. On the logistics routes, a military truck carrying ammunition is struck by a drone. The drone operator's next target is a T-72 Russian tank. Damaged and immobilized, the drone delivers the final strike to the tank. With a successful drone strike, the tank is completely disabled. A military truck transporting materials for Russian trench construction was destroyed by an FPV drone. These attacks continued along the entire front line, inflicting heavy logistical and military losses on Russian forces. In a short period of time, Posipaki operators deployed anti-aircraft FPV drones to strike 50 Molniya units. These rapid and precise attacks disrupted Russian air operations and rendered many targets ineffective before they could respond. The success of these drones demonstrated the growing role of unmanned systems in controlling airspace and providing tactical advantages on the battlefield. Ukraine's 413th UAS Battalion raid destroyed Russian logistics in the Kurakov direction. Russian military vehicles transporting ammunition and reinforcements to the front line were systematically struck by drones while moving along ambush supply routes. The Ukrainian strikes on Russian logistics forced Russian troops on the front line into difficult positions. Without adequate ammunition and food supplies, Russian soldiers were compelled to abandon their positions. 2 Russian soldiers attempting to reach their position on an ATV were unaware of the Ukrainian FPV drone trailing them. Their journey didn't last long. The drone operator's next targets were Russian soldiers on motorcycles. 2 soldiers were moving quickly along the road, but the drone was faster than them. Both became easy and exposed targets for the drone. A Russian military truck also became the target of an FPV drone. Before the soldiers could get out of the vehicle, it was struck by the drone, which aimed directly at the truck's driver's cabin. August 13, 2025, Ukrainian drone operators from the 63rd Mechanized Brigade destroyed Russian infantry positions in Torske. Russian soldiers had taken cover in abandoned buildings, turning them into defensive strongpoints, which were targeted with FPV kamikaze drone strikes. A high concentration of Russian troops is reported in the Torske area, and relentless drone attacks continue to dislodge them from the region. The precision and speed of the FPV strikes left little opportunity for Russian troops to regroup or reinforce their positions. These ongoing operations demonstrate how Ukrainian drone teams are systematically degrading Russian combat effectiveness in contested areas. Ukrainian fiber optic FPV drones of the 30th Mechanized Brigade pursued a Russian military vehicle. The small Russian truck attempted evasive maneuvers upon spotting the approaching drone, but it was too late to escape. A Russian soldier in the vehicle immediately abandoned it, and the unmanned drones successfully neutralized the abandoned vehicle. The MiG-29 crew, using 4 GBU-39 bombs, destroyed 4 dugouts where Russian assault groups were gathering for an attack on Ukrainian positions. The GBU-39, known for its high accuracy and deep penetration capability, causes devastating damage even to fortified positions. A Russian mechanized assault was repelled by the drone team of the Nebesna Kara unit, part of Ukraine's 54th Mechanized Brigade. Skilled Ukrainian FPV and kamikaze drone operators engaged the advancing Russian armored units, targeting both vehicles and infantry. Several Russian armored personnel carriers and tanks were disabled, forcing the assault to retreat. The drone's precision strikes disrupted coordination, destroyed logistical support, and inflicted significant damage, showcasing the tactical advantage of unmanned systems in modern mechanized warfare. A Russian bunker was struck by a Wild Hornets drone operated by the Bulava unit of the 3rd Marine Battalion, Presidential Brigade, in the Velika Novosilka direction. 14th August 2025, Ukrainian Ivan Franko military unit launched a series of precise FPV drone strikes against Russian military vehicles along key logistics routes. The skilled operators targeted tanks, armored personnel carriers, and supply trucks, rendering multiple vehicles inoperable. The front line remains highly contested in Donetsk, Kharkiv, and Lyman sectors. Ukrainian FPV and kamikaze drones have decimated Russian armored vehicles, logistics convoys, and infantry positions. Russian supply lines are disrupted, artillery units neutralized, and armored columns rendered inoperable. Ukrainian forces, leveraging drone reconnaissance, precision strikes, and combined arms tactics, maintain operational momentum.